wonderful, supporting wife and 2 loving and courageous children. He has a lot of interests, including outdoors, biking, playing heavy metal. Mark has his own experience with bullying, and we'd like to share some of them with you today. This topic will be, what are the different kinds of bullying?
Thank you, Michelle. Hello, everyone. I was bullied. I've also witnessed many other people being bullied when I was younger. I heard things like, "Hey, Fatso, shouldn't you be skipping lunch today? If I see you after school, you're going to get your ass beat. Hey, dumb Polak, is it true what they say about the Polish being stupid?" When you're being bullied, each day is a mission to get through the end of the day. You go through an obstacle course of harassment, embarrassment, and emotion, just trying to hold yourself together. But through it all, you somehow find the strength to push through the next day with courage and determination. This makes you a powerful human being. When I was younger, bullying wasn't something you talked about. It's something that you just dealt with on your own. I wish I would have had access to the information that we're sharing with you tonight. The first step in overcoming bullying is to know which type you're dealing with. The 4 most common types of bullying are verbal, physical, social, and cyberbullying. Who here has experienced being teased, being made fun of, having jokes made about you that are hurtful? We all have. Many times. That's verbal bullying, and it's the most popular form. Verbal bullying is about hurting you through the words they say. It's usually targeting the way you look, the way you talk, your ethnicity, social orientation, or your disability. All the things that make you beautiful, perfect, and unique, the bullies use against you. Who here has been kicked, pushed, maybe spit on, had things thrown at you? That's physical bullying. And it usually takes place face to face. And it can include anything from pushing and punching, kicking and tripping, spitting on you, having objects thrown at you. It can also include the stealing or damaging of your personal property. Who here has been excluded from a team, not invited to a party on purpose? Or you've experienced a group spreading rumors or gossip about you? A lot of us. We call that social bullying. It's most popular amongst girls. And it can include telling people not to be your friend, as well as excluding you from a team, an event, or a group. Cyberbullying. It's a popular topic. And it's also brought our attention to the severity of bullying in recent years. This can happen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it can happen anonymously. Cyberbullying takes place over social networks like Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, text messages, by sharing and posting embarrassing photos of you, or sending hurtful or threatening messages. Knowing which type of bullying you're dealing with is the first step in empowering yourself to end it. So let's recap. The 4 types of bullying we talked about tonight include verbal, where words are used to tear you down; physical, where touch is involved; social, where the goal is to exclude you; and cyberbullying, where you're harassed online. No matter which category of bullying you're dealing with, it is important to speak with somebody and create a plan of action. With the resources you have available at your fingertips, the time to make a change is now. Thank you.
That was amazing. When he asked who here has had experience with one of these 4 different types of bullying, and almost everybody in the room raised their hands. That just goes to show how common bullying is and why we definitely need to start conversations like this with each other and with the community. Our next speaker, I would have to read his bio. I apologize. It's he in Toastmasters, when you go in, as you go through the program, you actually earn distinctions. And our next speaker has earned many distinctions. He is an Advanced Communicator Silver, Advanced Leader Bronze, and he's the Division B Director of our district, District 52. Avery Aguilar is passionate about self-improvement and self-development. He is definitely an idealist. He wants to make a difference in the world by adding value to people's lives, and we have seen that over and over again in action. He believes he can do this through effective communication skills and leading by example. Avery Aguilar will be talking to us about how you can spot bullying, or how can you tell if somebody is being bullied. Please welcome Avery.
Okay, now who in here knows someone who's been bullied? Now, did they tell you they were being bullied, or did you notice it? Today I want to share with you there are so many ways you can spot when someone's being bullied. Tonight, I will just show you about 5 topmost. The first one, when you see a friend his clothes have been messed up. When he comes home from school, either your friend or your child, ask if they've been bullied or if something happened. Second is, what if they're missing some clothing or some toys from school, one of their favorite toys, games, that's missing? Ask them what happened to it. Another sign is maybe if the most is especially when they become suicidal. That's the scariest part. When they change their behavior overnight. I had a friend. She was very outgoing, very friendly. But then, a few weeks later, I realized she changed her behavior completely. She didn't go out as much, she didn't talk to anyone, she stayed mostly at home. And I thought that was really weird, so I went up and talked to her. And if I didn't ask what had happened to her, I'm sure she would have taken some drastic measures. Did something silly for herself. It's important to recognize some of these signs because you never know. Next week could be too late. You have to keep your eyes open. Another sign that you might see is they don't like to go to school. They start missing school or classes regularly. And that is a sign that there is something happening there. So it's good to ask. One thing I like to do is I believe communication. That's why I'm in Toastmasters. I believe communication is the key to have good social as well as professional life. To be successful, you need to only be able to communicate yourself, express yourself more confidently, but influence others. Now, with Toastmasters, that's what we do with Toastmasters. We improve ourselves in communication. And one way in communicating is to find out the right way to ask your friends or your families if they're being bullied. Now I know, you know people when they try and tell you what to do, and you don't like to talk to them because they feel like they're talking down at you. With communication, it can help you improve how to ask your children better. Another I believe is very important is if the sudden change of behavior, like for example, they change their hairstyle. Those are the things that we have to be careful of. We have to be aware of, especially for your loved ones and your close ones. If they suddenly change their behavior, it's important that you talk to them. These are some of the signs of behavior. As Michelle and the others have mentioned, there are, and as well as Mike mentioned, there are ways you can find out about where you can look about bullying and spot bullying. Those are just 5 times. Now, if you have any questions, again, I would like to help out and give you some more pointers.
Okay. So Avery is the one who is thinking of putting together something like a Toastmasters type of organization for younger individuals. So if you are interested in participating in something like that for your kids or for somebody that you know, please don't hesitate to approach Avery. So he had talked about how you can spot bullying, the 5 most common ones, and I would just like to bring one that's really, really very common, is when you see it happen in front of you. And our next speaker will talk about what you can do to prevent bullying. Susan Dimartini has been a physical therapist for the past 20 years, and she has lived in Santa Clarita Valley for the past 14 years. Her greatest satisfaction in life comes from helping people overcome their challenges, any limitations, injuries, and help them reach their fullest potential. Susan believes that bullying has to be put on the endangered species list, and we all agree. And her speech title is, Should You Treat Bullying Like a Grizzly Bear?
I was actually going to start off asking how many of you have been bullied, but that question's already been asked numerous times this evening. So I think it's quite evident that bullying is a serious, widespread issue that can have long-standing, deadly consequences. So what can we do about it? Can we rid the world of every single bully? No. Can we get Deputy Drake and Sergeant Vanderleek to lock up every single bully and throw away the key? No. So what can we do? We heard a few things that we could do already. Well, tonight I'm going to present one suggested idea of how to address bullying and give you a 3-step method on how to address bullying when it's happening right in front of you. My hope is actually to empower every single one of you to read more, to do more, to speak up and stand up against bullying. Because it is a serious issue that affects us all. I first do want to address those of you who actually have been bullied or are currently being bullied. My heart truly goes out for you, because I know what you're feeling, I know what you're going through. But I'm here to tell you that there are choices and you have options, which you've already heard. I mean, the resources that are available to you today are incredible. Just reach out for them. They say that knowledge is power. I see knowledge, it's something that can build confidence, yet knowledge put into action is power. And that is what I want to show you tonight, how you can take your knowledge and put it into action and gain power from that. So I'm someone, I love to research. I love diving into the material. I love learning new things. And one of the concepts I came across, or strategies, was to treat bullies like grizzly bears. Which at first when I read this, I thought, this is crazy, this is nuts. You can't treat people like animals. Well, a month ago, my husband and I, we happened to go to Glacier National Park. And before we went, we did our research and we made sure we were prepared. Our parents, or actually our mothers, did not want us to go. But we went. So how did we input our knowledge into action? Well, we first made sure that we hiked in common areas. Number two, we stayed together and we hiked in groups. And lastly, we made a lot of noise. And thankfully, we did not run across any grizzly bears. My husband thinks it was my singing that deterred them. But we did have a great vacation. And like I said, we didn't run into any grizzly bears, and it was the best case scenario. However, what would we have done if we did run into any grizzly bears? Would we have panicked and freaked out? No, that's not what you do, and that's not what we learned. If we ran into a bear, we would have stayed quiet, we would have been calm, and when it was appropriate, we would have walked on. If we saw a bear, we would have informed one of the park rangers so they could track it, they could monitor it, and if necessary, they would relocate it. So we've been told not to feed the bears. Now, when I think of grizzly bears, I think of those monstrous, nasty beasts that can really cause a lot of damage and harm you and possibly even kill you. Yet, there's another side of grizzly bears that you don't often think of. Yeah, they're cute, aren't they? Almost you want to snuggle up with them. Yeah, but when grizzly bears aren't threatened, when they feel safe and when they have their needs met, they are peaceful, they are docile, and you want to hug them. They are just creatures in this world, just like the rest of us, trying to survive and doing the best they can with the tools that they have. So let's go back. Well, first of all, are grizzly bears bad? No. Are bullies bad? No. Bullies just demonstrate bad behaviors. So is it maybe a good idea to treat bullies like grizzly bears? I actually think it's not a bad idea. So what do we know about bullies? One, they don't make good friends, and they're not cool. And they're not going to make the world a better place. But they do need to be identified. There's a saying that hurt people hurt. A lot of times bullies themselves have been bullied. And like I said, they're not bad, they just acquired bad behaviors. And they need help developing skills so they can live a peaceful life. So as I mentioned, bullies need to be identified. We do outnumber them, but the sooner we identify them, the better. So what do we do when we confront a bully? We say, stop, that's not cool. Even as a bystander, you can say the same thing, stop. Actually, as a bystander, you have a lot more power over that bully than even the victim themselves. If you see someone being harmed or endangered, that is when you walk and you talk and you tell somebody. Act, don't react, and stay in control. And my last message I want to say is strong people don't put others down, they build them up. So my final thought is, and in conclusion, that bullying is a serious issue that can have long-standing, dire consequences. The anti-bullying laws are actually working, but to be more effective, we all have a role to play and we all need to get involved. We can make a difference as an individual, but as a community, we can put bullying on the endangered species list. Thank you.
Together a bookmark. You may have already gotten one. If not, please feel free to grab one. They're right by the door. So this just recaps what Susan had talked about, a three-step strategy on how to combat bullying. Stop, walk, and talk. Tell the bully to stop using your words or your actions. Walk away once it's safe. If the problem continues, walk away, ignore them. And then if it persists, talk to an adult about it, talk to somebody else about it, make it known. So please feel free to use this resource. And I also just wanted to mention that we have by the door as well several one-page resources. One of them is a do's and don'ts list for parents on what to do if you suspect your child is being bullied. So what can you do? and it's in English and in Spanish. So hopefully the Spanish is accurate. Thank you, Google Translate. But it is out there for you, and also a list of references. I just really wanted to quickly mention in there, since cyberbullying has been a big concern for a lot of people, and we've been asking about it. There's a really good website called cyberbullying.org. If you go in there, it's a mountain, it's a wealth of resources that you can look into. And I believe they have Spanish resources there as well. And there is a anti-bullying, not just anti-bullying, but they're an organization that seeks to empower youth in many different ways, and it's called the Youth Project in SCV. They're school-linked, they're a nonprofit, and they assist teens on various issues, including anti-bullying. So there are a lot of resources out there available. Feel free to grab a handout as you go out. And I know it's a school night, wrapping up. We won't take your time much longer. I just wanted to quickly thank everyone who's been instrumental in having this conversation at the Valencia Public Library, starting with Michael, our reference librarian. Sergeant Vanderleek and Deputy Dre. Our three speakers today from Toastmasters, and also my wonderful co-chairs for this event, Sharon Hill. If you could please just raise your hand. Out here, they're doing the magic behind the scenes, and also our Toastmasters in the audience. Mark is doing the videoing for us. Mark Richards out there, so thank you again. I will bring the floor back to Michael.
Thank you. I'm so excited about the electronic databases that you can access from home, but I forgot one of the most important things that libraries have, being a librarian for 25 years, is books. And they're staying right in front of them. So the library has a wealth of resources, and if you need help with any topic, and serious topics like tonight's discussion on anti-bullying, please ask a librarian for help too. And we have access to 75 libraries. We have access of these materials in multiple languages, including Spanish. You can go to the library catalog at santaclaralibrary.com. You can change the filter to Spanish only. You can put in the term for bullying in Spanish and look for resources and have them sent here for you. So we have 75 libraries that we share materials with. So it's not just those electronic databases that you can access from home that are like magazines. You also have access to books, and you have access to DVDs as well. And I just want to thank the sheriffs, thank Quest Toastmasters one last time, and thank you again for this very important topic. The things that you guys have mentioned, you had mentioned, notice people's changes in life. Unfortunately, I've had personal experiences where if they were caught, maybe changes would have happened. And so you do want to pay attention to people's behaviors and the changes in life and everything that they talked about tonight. So thank you very much, everybody.